movie stars, Charles Grodin.
I never really thought about how you live, or acquiring things, or getting the right clothes, or keeping your sideburns the right length. It's just been a focus I haven't had. And as a result, I'm a very unhappy person.
With thoughts from his friends Albert Brooks and Lily Tomlin. Plus music from Devo, Gail Davies, P.G. Sheppard. And here's your host for this morning, one of the most beautiful, talented women in our business, Lynda Carter.
Somehow you're everywhere. Or is that the wind reminding me of how you touched my hair? We used to laugh at times, but wasn't that yesterday? Didn't we touch? Didn't we feel? Didn't the music play? Of my life has gone with you. Why can't the past begin? Why did the future end? Would it betray a memory if I could love again? We never reached the sun, not 'cause we didn't try. We were so close, we were so warm. Why did the music die? It's the last song I'm ever gonna hear. It's the last song that makes me feel you're near.
Miss Carter, you are indeed a feast for the ear and a feast for the eye, and we are really jazzed to have you here on the Midnight Special here tonight. Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm jazzed to be here. I thank you very much. You know, I love the chance to sing because it's really how I started out in this business. It's my very favorite thing to do. It's the song.
You know, the song you just did was a gas. It really was.
Oh,
just
thank you.
Really good. Wasn't it great? Yeah.
Thank you. It came from a movie that I just completed for television a few months ago, and it's also my new single, and it was produced by a really good friend of mine. I think you may have heard his name once or twice. Kenny Rogers.
Oh, yeah. Real comer. Real comer. I tell you, the two of you make some partnership, you know?
Yeah, thank you. Very kind, Wolfman. Tell me, are you a fan of Charles Grodin?
Am I a fan of Charles Grodin?
Am I a fan?
I tell you, he knocked me out in A Heartbreak Kid, and also Heaven Can Wait.
Well, right now, I think that Charles Grodin is one of the film world's most popular and funniest leading men. At some theaters, two of his movies are playing simultaneously. Seems Like Old Times and It's My Turn.
And Lynda, listen, in Times Square, you can go to a topless club. which is right above a Charles Grodin movie. And then go next door to the Burlesque. Visit the Gaiety Male Theater upstairs.
That sounds better.
Then see another Charles Grodin movie. And one of his films even being advertised in the gutter.
Well, all in all, Charles Grodin is a very hot actor.
No, I'm not hot. I'm not hot. I don't even have an agent. I don't have an answering service. It's not necessary. It's just a fluky coincidence.
Charles starred in a movie directed by his best friend, Albert Brooks.
Let me call you back. Yes?
We're here to talk to you about Charles Grodin.
Wait a minute. You called yesterday. I told you I don't know Charles Grodin. So, why are you here? I asked you not to come here. I don't know Charles Grodin.
Well, I'm shocked that he doesn't know who I am. I thought he did. We share a small apartment in West Hollywood. He's always busy. He always looks like he has a lot on his mind. He's always writing, directing, thinking up things to do. But there's only one other guy there, just the three guys. And, gee, I wonder if he knows him.
Look, you know, it's a funny concept that people have. Real life had, I would say, 100 people involved in it. I mean, there were actors and crew and caterers and truckers, and I mean, how am I supposed to remember one person? I don't, you know, it's not No Exit. It's not a three-person movie. I mean, there were many actors and many crew people, and to surprise me like this is unfair. To come in and say Charles Grodin, to name somebody off the, you know, I had this discussion on the phone to say who is Charles Grodin, and that movie was 2 years ago.
Well, this is a little shocking to me. I mean, I know that, you know, Albert is very single-minded about his work, and there were, you know, a lot of people in real life, but we're roommates as well.
Okay, wait a minute. He's a black fella.
I know Albert Brooks has a new picture coming out, Modern Romance, but quite honestly, I'm not in it, so I have no interest in the film whatsoever. I wish him the best, but very resentful that I'm not in it.
Merv Griffin is the only GR I have in this whole thing. You know, I don't know. I'm embarrassed now. All right. I mean, this should have been taken care of earlier. I'll say anything you want. I respect his work, but I don't know who the hell you mean.
He eats all the time is the only thing. That's the only thing about Albert that really bothers me, and I don't want, it's a rude thing to say, I guess, but if he would just kind of get that under control a little bit. He's always eating, and it's hard to look at it.
Okay, fine. Charles Grodin's a great actor, okay? He's versatile, he's talented, handsome guy. What can I say? I've worked with hundreds of actors. He's the best actor I've ever worked with. I'm surprised. He has dialects, he has disguises, he's on time, he doesn't argue. So many actors argue. Never argued, ever. Didn't eat much, which is a help to an independent film.
I like an atmosphere where people can feel free to do whatever it is they think they should do. I like a friendly, supportive atmosphere. The director at some point, if it's me or whoever it is, will make a judgment of whether this is appropriate or that's appropriate or useful or right or fits in. But I like that atmosphere where people can give what they think is their best or bring their sensibility to their work.
He's what you call a pro, okay? Does that help you? Now get out, will you please?
One more question.
Yes. What?
Do you think we can borrow your car for the afternoon?
Okay. You know, you're playing with fire, okay? Here. Just as good equipment you got? Here. Come on. How much is your expensive equipment? Huh? Here, come on. Get out of here. Get out of here with your Charles Grodin questions. Who the hell is Charles Grodin?
Welcome back. Hey, you're just in time to join me as we get to know our hostess, Lynda Carter, just a little bit better.
I was asked a few weeks ago how I felt about my poster and how I felt about being looked on in people's bedrooms or their living rooms or wherever the poster happens to be. And I said I had nothing to do with it. I just took a photograph. That's all I did was take a photograph. And it was a marketing promotion, and someone made a lot of money off of it. A lot more than I did, I assure you. Ron Samuels is my husband.
The poster came about when we were doing a photo session for the poster company. At the time, posters were a very, very in thing with the success that Farrah had had. And we were shooting some photographs, and I said to Lynda, why don't you just tie that shirt under your waist? And she said, oh, that looks dumb. I don't think I want to do that. And I said, no, try it. And the photographer shot it.
All I did was take a picture, and I thought it was a corny picture at that. I thought, oh, please. All I need is the hay straw in my mouth with the, you know, belly button and the whole thing. I just thought it was corny, you know. I refused to take a bathing suit shot. I refused to. I just, it's not really what I wanted to say in anything, in any poster. You know, what is it that the person's trying to say if they're going to, for a magazine cover, to do something specifically, or to model some lingerie, or to do something specifically in terms of taking photographs in a bathing suit or whatever, is one thing. But to intentionally go about provoking, being provocative or whatever, I just think is a bunch of nonsense, to put it nicely. And I don't feel like I need it. I don't need that kind of aggravation in my life anyway. I have enough, and I certainly don't try to hide my figure. But I don't think that showing 14 inches of cleavage is in good taste. Becoming a celebrity is an experience all of its own, because like a hero never feels like a hero. And the word is even uncomfortable for me. Star, celebrity, whatever. You know, I'm an actress and I'm a performer. That's what I consider myself to be. Wonder Woman, in particular, had so much mystery and fun and mystique about her, as opposed to a regular kind of a character. I mean, after all, it's not every day that you walk around in the American flag. There is a funny story. When I first had done Wonder Woman, and I had done it, and then it didn't air for 6 months. And so finally it aired, and I had a big party, and I had all my friends over, and I got telegrams and everything, and I went out the next day to have Mexican food, and I was expecting people on the street to recognize me and ask me for my autograph, and I really put on my makeup beautifully, and I mean, just it was really funny. Not one person even blinked or turned their head or anything. Finally, I asked somebody, "Did you watch TV last night?" They said, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Well, did you watch that new pilot, Wonder Woman?" "No." "Oh." I just kept walking. I've never told that story either. It's kind of humiliating. Your whole life changes. I mean, normalcy is talking in front of a camera. That's normal. That's part of a normal lifestyle. Is having a stranger come into your house and ask you questions, personal questions, and you answering, and not kicking them out on their tails, you know. Get out of here.
Thank you very much. My next guest hails from Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and she grew up listening to Patsy Cline and Hank Williams and Hank Snow. As you might guess, her country roots have crept into her own singing style. But to me, her music is like a fresh breeze of good old clean country air. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gail Davies and I'll Be There.
Stop me, I'll be there. If you
from his most recent leading lady and his co-star in The Incredible Shrinking Woman, Miss Lily Tomlin.
Chuck Grodin is one of the sexiest men I've ever known because he makes you laugh. And that's what they always say about men who make you laugh, that they're sexy.
I love Lily Tomlin. I love her. I love her the way everybody else does. You know, there's a lot of fans of Lily Tomlin. I'm one of them. She's really the reason I did The Incredible Shrinking Woman, because she asked me to. Kind of hard for me to imagine her asking me to do anything that I wouldn't do. She's a wonderful entertainer. Everybody knows that. And she's also a very, very gifted actress, which is part of her characters, but she has great gifts in that area as well. She's also a wonderful appreciator of people and of comedy and of just whatever's going on. She's not the way some performers could be, so self-interested and so self-focused. They couldn't be interested or appreciative of other people. I'm basically like the other kind of performer. I have no interest in anyone, and just a self-focused guy. This scene from The Incredible Shrinking Woman is a scene just prior to the medical examination, where it first becomes evident to me that my wife, Lily, is something's wrong, something's wrong. This is where we first begin to wonder just what it is that's wrong.
Good morning, darling.
There's been a lot of talk. I was in London making the Great Muppet Caper, where I did play the romantic interest with Miss Piggy. And since I've come back here, they got a hold of some photographs. And it just Miss Piggy and I at dinner one night in a nightclub, and I really would like to take this opportunity to say that we are just very good friends. It's just amazing to me. The minute they see you out with your leading lady, people make that assumption that something is going on. She's a very attractive woman. I'm not going to say she isn't, but we're just good friends.
I'd like to say that the rumors about a triangle between me and Chuck and Miss Piggy are totally unfounded.
The Charles Grodin technique of romancing a girl in life? You can't talk about stuff like that. I mean, in the Charles Grodin technique, they'll like merchandise this all over the country. They'll open up like Charles Grodin technique studios. You can't put that out on television. You're kidding? Everybody walking around. I'll have a date with a girl who says, "Oh, you're using the Charles Grodin technique." Wait a minute, I'm Charles Grodin. Yeah, but everybody's got that technique. Now, you can't just reveal that type of thing.
Rumor has it that you've got much more in store next week.
Oh, we sure do, because your host's going to be that funny sportscaster, Mr. Bob Uecker. Hey.
I've seen a lot of him on, with Johnny on the Carson show. He's hysterical.
Oh, that he is. And along with Bob, we're going to have his good buddy, Mr. Howard Cosell.
Oh,
Yes.
I love Howard. But I hear that you're going to have an even bigger surprise for all of us.
Oh, we sure are, because joining us for the show for the first time ever is going to be one of show business's biggest stars, Mr. Neil Diamond. Yeah.
We're all a bunch of wily people tonight. We're having fun. Groups come and groups go. But one group in particular just seems to keep devolving. This is such a bad joke. I don't believe it. For the first time on television, you are about to see whipped teas starring those fabulous Spud boys. Devo, devolving. Devo, Spud boys. I don't know. Talking to Robert Hilburn of the Los Angeles Times about some of the controversy that their tape has engendered. Let's hear it loud for Devo and, wait for this one, Whip It.
We've just seen the 7th Devo film. Like the first 6, that's a dramatic representation of their music. Unlike the first 6, however, this one's involved in a controversy. This is Mark and Jerry from the band, and Jerry's going to explain the situation this time.
Mark and I were just trying to develop a kind of a scenario. Like most of our films, it's usually a Fellini-esque or surreal reinterpretation of familiar things in the culture that people can understand, because we were trying to say something to people and trying to communicate on some other level than a slick product, which we are not. And in this case, with the way the country seems to be going and the inexhaustible interest in cowboy as the myth of modern man and the cowboy with the gun and fun at the ranch and mom and apple pie, we set up a scenario with cowboys and jeans and mom and apple pie and us dressed as kind of boat people with our flower pots on.
Because you've been kind of depressed about the direction things are going in, haven't you? I mean, if you listen to your music, you would think you have a few complaints about the...
I suppose we do. I mean, we kind of view the situation like aliens. I don't mean alienated, just aliens, like somebody hovering in a little craft watching human behavior and not believing that it could really be true. Whip it, for instance, is the opposite of sexist. It doesn't even fit into any definition, which I don't understand what that definition even means. I think that people that make those kind of accusations should have to substantiate them or be quiet.
Mark, when you're putting together a film, let's say the toaster incident and the idea of the woman and, you know, the whip and so forth, do you think there's any boundaries that people should put on artists? I mean, do you think that those boundaries are too tight nowadays, or? I mean, because one of the whole objectives of your band is to kind of say, look, just to jar and stimulate and have people think about things. And if you do it in a very conventional manner, you're not going to achieve that.
If the spud fits, wear it.
I mean, does this guy look like a sexist?
Jerry, do you think there's you know, you think there's limits on what a person should be able to say in art?
Well, the problem is, who's establishing the limits? I mean, the limits seem to always go in one direction. There's one bias. I mean, no one objects to the Love Boat. No one objects to TNA commercials and TNA sitcoms, and no one objects to promo films of Rod Stewart singing between a girl's legs with hot pants on, or Meatloaf grinding up against a girl in a slit gown.
Because that's all part of the American experience, right?
That's their kind of sex, so they say, yay. You know, that fits the bill. But we come on with a sense of humor and a parody of maybe their values, and I suppose we're asking to be attacked because that doesn't please them. It doesn't reinforce what they already think. I mean, the question isn't sex or not sex, it's what kind of sex. I mean, sex isn't bad, but there's bad sex.
Well, is it almost like a silent triumph, the fact that the thing does achieve what you, if you were trying to stir people up with this thing, and the fact that it did stir them up, is that I mean, do you, in some kind of perverse way, is that almost like a pleasure for you?
I suppose, yes, perverse. It certainly wasn't meant to be received in the way it has been received. I suppose it's kind of ironically just. But, and I'm glad that actually we even have this forum for expressing our own viewpoint. It's very, very seldom that an artist has a voice concerning the accusations made against him.
Plus more from Charles Grodin. But first, let's take another special look in the life of our hostess, Lynda Carter.
I began performing. I know it sounds silly because when you first start talking about when you started, and you say that you started at 4 years old, people say, well, how does anybody start at 4 years old unless they had a stage mother or something that pushed them on with Shirley Temple curls or something. I think that my sister and I had always been singing together and making up songs. And there was a local TV show that I was performing on, and because of my outgoing nature, they picked me to have the lead in a local children's show. And I just got up there and sang and danced around, and it was so much fun, and everyone seemed to enjoy it so much. I think it was my first real experience at audience approval. My sister and I used to make up songs and dances. We had probably a repertoire of about 20 songs, from Be Sure It's True When You Say I Love You, you know, and then doing all these things, sticks, and performing for my my parents' friends when they came over, to the extent that we had costumes and choreography and made up our own lyrics to songs. As a young teenager, I went through a few changes, metamorphosis, maybe is more correct. I first was a very, very thin, gangly, tall, gangly girl, and I wore a size 10 shoe in the 7th grade. I weighed probably about 98 pounds, was 5'6", totally underdeveloped. I'm trying to say that nicely. I thought that beauty contests were nonsense, and I thought the people who were in them were even worse. And I just said, you know, I was like, I'm not going to be in a beauty contest. Lo and behold, I entered one beauty contest because I really had nothing else to do. And 20 days later, I was Miss USA. And I was kind of looking around, everyone else was making a big deal about it, but it just seemed to be so apparent to me that they could have hung a banner on anybody. I mean, you just find a pretty face and 5 or 6 people say, okay, that's her, and that's the way it works. I mean, I don't really think that there's any tremendous accomplishment in that. But it was kind of a bizarre set of circumstances to finally lead me to come to California and start studying acting. And I had quit singing, except for writing and on a personal level, doing some demos and probably a much more serious level of music during those. And I didn't work for 2.5 years. When I couldn't pay my next month's rent and was going to be evicted from my West Hollywood apartment, I got the role of Wonder Woman. Being around the environment of trying to get an agent and trying to get into acting, trying to be recognized, seeing so much of what Hollywood is about and the tragedies that surround the city and the industry. It's all, I think that's one thing that I'm so thankful for, that I was really protected. I think the Lord had his hand on me even then, because I was really protected from a lot of the groups of people, I won't name any names, but you all know who you are, that have big parties and have a lot of the newcomers in town, the girls, around for all of the single or not single men that want to hang out at their houses, and an endless stream of meat. I just was very lucky that I was never involved in that.
A love song, the kind that takes so long to find and it go wrong, but all of us go on. Some of love, keep them burning at last. They are turning to tumble down love. Oh, what a sweet way to fall. I wanna love someone, but doesn't everyone? And I could go for you, but do you want me to?
Boy, I'd say a little love from Lynda Carter is enough to make the old wolf heart just tumble down any day of the week.
Once more, let's return to the fertile and funny mind of actor Charles Grodin.
Well, no, it was about 20 years ago, something like that. I was driving a cab about 20 years ago, and it was, the hours are similar to being in the movies. You get paid more to be in the movies, and people say, this guy's in the movies, you get paid more. The actual quality of time that you spend is slightly better driving a cab than being in the movies. In terms of how you enjoy your day, driving a cab is more gratifying than being in a movies. It's the movies just pay more. If they paid this kind of money to drive a cab, I'd be driving a cab. I was a Pinkerton guard for the Pinkerton Detective Agency. I patrolled the Brooklyn waterfront from midnight to 8. I had very strange beginnings. You know, this was my choice to do this type of thing. I was alone from midnight to 8, at least 3-4 nights a week, patrolling around in a full uniform, making sure that no empty warehouses caught on fire. This is like exciting work. I worked in a bank. I worked in the post office. I did many things for years. I was very interested in being working in the post office as a career for a while there, but then people said, "You're crazy. You have ability. You could be in the movies." So I went for the movies. My memory of working at Candid Camera, which was around 1966, was it was a place that you got fired a lot. I got fired several times. Everyone got fired a lot. You got fired for things that they thought you did. You got fired just as a kind of a matter of principle. They like to fire people. Once they had an idea to go out and close down the men's room of JFK Airport. See how funny it would be when people came off a plane, wanted to go to the bathroom and couldn't get in, and we'd say, "You're on Candid Camera." I said, "Gee, I didn't really think this is a good idea." I went to Alan Funt. He says, "No, this is a good idea. You know, go out there and close down that men's room and get those people in the act of being themselves, you know." Well, it was terrible what happened. I mean, it was just a mob of people. There wasn't anything humorous. There was just a lot of antagonism, a lot of genuine anger, understandable anger. And around 1 o'clock, you know, we were all just told to come back in and forget about it. And I got fired for that. And I went to see him. I said, you know, that was your idea. It wasn't my idea. I was the guy that didn't want you to do it, you know. He rehired me there. But then I got fired the next time something happened. I started in soap opera and television. And that was live television. It was very nerve-wracking. I found it to be the hardest thing I've ever done. You had to learn enormous amounts of dialogue, 20, 30 pages sometimes. And I really didn't like it. I was very new. I was in the late 50s. I was very inexperienced, and I was the young leading man on Love of Life in 1959, something like that. Very nerve-wracking, the hardest thing I've ever done. That and flying on planes in electrical storms were the two rough things I've run into. Oh, I did a lot of, I did the Virginian, and I was the guest on them, you know, the Virginian and the Iron Horse. There's Jim Drury and Dale Robertson, Guns of Will Sonnet, Walter Brennan. Worked with Charles Bickford on the Virginian. Big Valley, Lee Majors was there. This was all around the mid-60s. People enjoyed seeing me get killed. And this carried on into the movies for a while. They liked to see me get stepped on by an ape in King Kong. Even in The Heartbreak Kid, I think the first review I ever saw of that was in the Daily News. I came off a plane from Los Angeles, and it said, "You'll hate him. Love the movie." You'll hate him. I thought, well, if I like that, you'll hate him. And that kind of, you know, all the way through Heaven Can Wait, I would say, people have enjoyed hating me. I don't like that too much, though.
How about that? My next guest is a tried and true country boy. He's already been to the top of the country list this year, and it's my bet that he'll be there again very, very soon. Please welcome T.G. Sheppard and Do You Want to Go to Heaven? Yes, I do.
It was the hottest day of August. All of us were down by the banks of the Paint Rock River. I was next in line to be baptized at the innocent age of 10. Now I'll never forget, I remember it yet, the taste of that clear, pure water. And that preacher's words still fill my head, and I hear them now and then. He said, "Do you want to go to heaven?" And I said, "Yeah, just lead me on. Take my hand, can you feel that feeling?" And I said, yeah, just lead me on. It was the hottest night of summer, and our final high school dance was just about over. I was old enough for the taste of love when boys turned into men. I'll never forget, I remember it yet, the taste of that clear, pure water. But the preacher's words I barely heard as sweet Bonnie Lou gave in. She said, "Do you want to go to heaven?" And I said, yeah, just lead me on. Take my hand, can you feel that feeling? And I said, yeah, just lead me on. It was a lonely night in August. She was sitting at the end of the bar when I saw her. And with a little wine and a little time, she would be a prize to win. Now I'll never forget, I remember it yet, the taste of that clear, pure water. But that preacher's words could not be heard when she whispered, "Come on in." She said, "Do you want to go to heaven?" And I said, yeah, just lead me on. Take my hand, can you feel that feeling? And I said, yeah, just lead me on. She said, "Do you want to go to
that there's a few ladies that would like to go anywhere with handsome T.G. Sheppard. And there's plenty more great music to come. And do I have a tip for you? Next week, for the first time ever, right here in the Midnight Special, you're going to see the one and only Neil Diamond. Hey! Now, that's a secret. I don't want you to tell nobody about it. No, you tell everybody about that. We're going to be coming right back. I'd just like to remind everybody that next week's Midnight Special, hosted by Howard Cosell's good friend Bob Uecker, will feature a very special performer, Mr. Neil Diamond. Hey, in addition to Neil Diamond, Bob Uecker's guests will include Howard Cosell.
Who is Bob Uecker? That's probably the one unanswerable question I have ever faced.
Blondie, the Bellamy Brothers, and Rick Nelson. So listen, you join us next week for some outstanding humor from Bob Uecker right here on the Midnight Special. Lay your hand on the television.
Introducing Gail Davies, I'd just like to pass on that not only is Gail a talented singer and guitar player, but she wrote half the songs on her latest album, as well as producing it herself. It's no easy task, so please help me to welcome Gail Davies, and It's a Lovely, Lovely World.
And the Midnight Special rolls on with Lynda Carter and T.G. Sheppard right after this.
I wrote Fantasy Man late one night. I had been lying in bed with my husband, and the fire was on. He was asleep as usual. No, that's not true. He was sort of falling asleep, and I had all these words rolling around in my mind, and I got up, and I wrote for about 2.5 hours, and Ron got up and was very irritated with me, because I had been up in the middle of the night, you know, and he doesn't like for me to do that, or didn't. Now he doesn't mind at all. But I said, well, wait till you hear what I wrote. And after he heard the lyrics, "You're my fantasy man and loving you is easy," he said, "Oh, well, gee, that's really neat, honey."
tend to me with your fingertips. Oh, so easily. There is no other love for me. There's only what you do to me. Oh, my fantasy. You're my fantasy man. Loving you is easy. You're my fantasy man. When I'm alone, you keep me good company. Oh, it's where I always wanna be. With my fantasy man. You're my fantasy man. There is no other love for me. There's only what you do to me. Oh, my fantasy. You're my fantasy man. Loving you is easy. You're my fantasy man. When I'm alone, you keep me good company. Oh, it's where I always want to be. With my fantasy man. You're my fantasy man. You're my fantasy
I told you earlier that this man is a top country star, and he's back to perform a song that helped him get where he is today. Welcome back, T.G. Sheppard singing I Feel Like Loving You Again.
Your love is like a gentle breeze that quickly turns into a storm. Love can bring me to my knees, and I'm so helpless when I'm blown into your arms. I feel like loving you again. I should be over you, but I'm not sure I am. If anyone can turn my world around, you know you can. I feel like loving. I feel like loving. I feel like loving you again. Just like an old familiar song that keeps on on playing in my head. It's always there where it belongs. Guess I'm still hung up on the sweet things that you said.
Playing the Lynda Palladium was the highlight of my performing career. And I think for the audiences, when they sit down in those seats, beautiful red velvet seats in the Queen's box with the crest above the box, and there's an ambience that is unlike any other theater because of the people that have been there, the great performances that have been experienced there. I think that the audiences are very open to having good performances and very intolerant of mediocre performances. And I had been touring England already for 10 days when I arrived there. And as I walked up to the dressing room, there was a brass plaque, and it says Stars Dressing Room, Lynda Carter, Lynda Palladium, 1980. Which is something they've never done for a person that played a single engagement. You have to play over 2 weeks before they give this to you. But for whatever reason, maybe it was the few days I had been there before, talking with the people and getting things arranged, they wanted to do that for me. And it was like that's what started off my evening.
When we were there, we looked around this place and she went up and walked inside to see where the Queen sits. And she went into the toilet, which they call the loo. And she came out running. She says, "Ron, Ron, you won't believe it." She says that the Queen's toilet is much bigger than any other toilet seat I've ever seen.
And I got on the stage, and I was nervous. It left me right away when I bungled my opening little thing that I say. And I just stopped in the middle. I said, "I don't believe this. Here I am at the Lynda Palladium, and I've just blown it. I've just blown this whole thing." And the audience started laughing and applauding, and the band started applauding. And I said, "No, wait a second, let me finish my story." And that's what I was talking about before in terms of honesty. And it was obvious. I figured it may as well. And from that point on, I knew the audience was mine. And I went on to probably do the best performance of my life.
Thank you. That's our midnight special for this morning. And I hope you all got to know me a little bit better, and I'm glad I got to know Charles Grodin a little better, too. I'd also like to thank my musical guests, Gail Davies, Devo, and T.G. Sheppard. Thanks so very much for joining us. Good night, and God bless you all. God bless you for us.
Stumble on time. do you want me to? Still life can strand us like lovers on canvas who never quite manage to touch, caught in the stroke of a brush. We're not paintings, just flesh and blood waiting for tumble down love. Oh, what a sweet way to fall. I wanna love someone, but doesn't everyone? And I could go for you. But do you want me to? Tumble down love, tumble down love. When all you can give her is love, like a river you rush to be tender, fanning the embers of love, keep them burning at last. They are turning to tumble down love. Oh, what a sweet way to fall. I wanna love someone, but doesn't everyone? And I could go for you.
Tomorrow, the original Hot Lips Sally Kellerman hosts Saturday Night Live with reggae star Jimmy Cliff. Thursday, NBC presents the 70-year saga of Lucky Luciano, Bugsy Siegel, and Michael Lasker. 3 kids who grew up on the streets and decided to own them. The Gangster Chronicles, an American story. It premieres Thursday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on NBC.